Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to be talking about the Ramadan and the benefits of fasting during this month. At the onset of Ramadan, Muslims all over the world start fasting from dawn to dusk daily for 30 days as ordained in the Quran. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed to you as it was prescribed to those before you, so that you can learn taqwa. Chapter 2, verse 183. Surah Al-Baqarah. The Arabic word taqwa is translated in many ways, including Allah consciousness, Allah fearing, piety, and self-restraining. Thus we are asked to fast daily for 1 month from dawn to dusk and avoid food, water, intimate relations, and other sins during that period. But why do we need to fast? In our human experience, we know that temptations and ways of the world tend to spoil our purity and austerity. Think of the act of eating. If we indulge in thinking about food all the time, snack and nibble the whole day, and overindulge when we sit for a meal, we surely will head towards obesity. The same can be said of doing anything excessively, arguing, seeking entertainment, etc. Now, when one is fasting, these obsessions are minimized. When one looks at mouth-watering food, she or he cannot even taste it. She has to give up snacking and nibbling. If provoked to fight, the suggested response is to say, I am fasting, and therefore cannot respond to your provocations. Reaching this point of self-restraint is to achieve taqwa, Allah consciousness, or nearness to Allah. Now I am going to go over some of the medical benefits of Ramadan. As said, Ramadan is a month of self-regulation and self-training. Muslims fast in accordance with our religion requirements, but there are medical benefits as well. Generally, fasting has been used by patients for weight management, to rest the digestive tract, and for lower lipids. There can be adverse effects of both total fasting and crash diets. Islam fasting is different from these diet plans because in Ramadan fasting there is no malnutrition or inadequate calorie intake. The calorie intake of Muslims during Ramadan is typically at or slightly below the nutritional requirement guidelines. In addition, the fasting in Ramadan is voluntarily taken and is not a prescribed imposition from the physician. And there is hope that this training will last beyond the end of Ramadan. The difference between Ramadan and total fasting is the timing of the food. During Ramadan, we take an early pre-dawn breakfast and do not eat till dusk. The fast is from both food and liquid intake. Abstinence from water for 8 to 10 hours is not necessarily bad for health. In fact, it causes concentration of all fluids within the body, producing slight dehydration. The body has its own water conservation mechanism. It has even been shown that slight dehydration and water conservation, at least in plant life, improve their longevity. The physiological effect of fasting includes lowering of blood sugar, lowering of cholesterol, and lowering of the systolic blood pressure. In fact, Ramadan fasting could be an ideal recommendation for the treatment of mild to moderate stable non-insulin diabetes, obesity, and hypertension. More than 25 years ago, the first International Congress on Health and Ramadan, held in Casablanca, Morocco, entered 50 extensive studies on the medical ethics of fasting. While improvement in many medical conditions was noted, not one finding that fasting worsened any patient's health or their baseline medical condition. Additional studies have confirmed these findings. It is important to note that patients who are suffering from severe diseases such as type 1 diabetes or coronary artery disease, kidney stones, etc., are exempt from fasting and should not be allowed to fast. Ramadan also has physiological benefits too. There are physiological effects of fasting as well. There is a peace and tranquility for those who fast during the month of Ramadan. Personal hostility is at a minimum, and in areas of the world where Muslims are living in large numbers, the crime rate decreases. The physiological improvement could be related to better stabilization of blood glucose while fasting. Hypoglycemia after eating can aggravate behavior changes. There is a spiritual beneficial effect of extra prayer at night. This not only helps with better utilization of food, but also helps in energy output. It has been calculated that there are 10 extra calories output for each unit of the prayer. This would particularly be connected to the extra prayers that are performed during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. When the believer is seeking the night of power, when worshiping this during this night is said to be worth 1,000 months of worship. It is important to emphasize that Muslims are not performing prayers for exercise, but a mild movement of the joints with extra calorie utilization can be a better form of exercise. Similarly, recitation of the Quran not only produces a in mind, but it also has been shown to improve memory. Fasting is a special act of worship which is ultimately between the believer and the Creator Himself, as no one else knows for sure if this person is actually fasting. In a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, Allah says, "Fasting is for me and I only will reward it." In another hadith, the Prophet reminds us, if one does not give up falsehoods in words and actions, Allah has no need of him giving up food and drink. I hope you gained some knowledge. Make sure to remember the importance of fasting the month of Ramadan and fast during Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a good day. Like, share, and subscribe.